Hello everyone, back-to-back uploads, I think. I mean, is it back-to-back if it's just daily? Like, as in, like, there's not going to be 2 uploads today. Maybe there will be, I don't know. I will not speak for the future, because I am not a clairvoyant. Anyways, enough with the weird intro. Today, I'm talking about how to deal with injuries and illness. So at the moment, well, for the past week or so, I've been sick. As you can tell by the coughing in my most recent video. Got a bad dose of a cold. Had suspected staph. And I've also dealt with various other issues with my health throughout the year. So I have involuntarily taken time off pretty frequently this year. So one thing that I've been forced to become well acquainted with, whether or not I like it or not, or whether or not I wanted to, is how to deal with being off the mats, being forced off the mats. Because when you're a very motivated person and you have goals and you want to improve and you've got vision, it can be very difficult when life steers you in a direction that you're not intending. So one thing we have to do, or something that we got to work out, is how the fuck do we deal with this? Because unfortunately, we don't always get to dictate? Pause! We don't always get to dictate where our life goes. Sometimes life has other plans for us. Sometimes life will put you in a position that may not necessarily align with where you want to be. And that's okay. One thing you have to do just in life in general is every time you get put into a new position, every time there's a change, every time that you have some kind of misfortune come your way, one of the wisest stances or perspectives that you can take on this is, how can I make this a strength? How can I make this something that is a benefit to me and overall takes me towards positive growth in my life? So, jiu-jitsu is very tactical and strategic and requires a lot of thought and problem solving. So one thing you can do when you're sick is sit with the problems that, give yourself time to sit with the problems that you're encountering in your game, and do it honestly. You can either do this through asking your coach, or someone who's directly involved with your game and has an objective perspective on it. Ask them, or even watch your own footage. And when you watch your own, if you can, let's say you had a competition or something not too long ago, or you had some notes from one of your recent classes, look at the common themes of problems that you're encountering. And something that I've been finding rather useful as well, it's useful in short doses, but it's allow yourself to get a little bit frustrated. Let's say someone held you inside control for 3 minutes of a round, or a 5-minute round. That should piss you off. Someone shouldn't be able to do that to you. So give yourself time to sit with the problems that you're experiencing in your jiu-jitsu. Because I took this from Gordon Ryan, not personally. He's not cool enough to know who I am, or for me to associate with him, because I'm so fucking cool and famous. So one of the things that Gordon said is, even John I think said this somewhere, even if you're not necessarily on the mats physically, if you're on the mats mentally, and you're still working through problems, bro, stop being such a snail. It's, brother. Sorry, road rage. If you're still on the mats mentally, then you will still be improving. You're not always going, don't you fucking... Bro, are you fucking serious, cunt? Fuck me, bro. I'm sorry, guys. I'm definitely not removing this because this is fucking hilarious. Some cunt in a Supra just tried cutting me off in into a merge into 2 lanes. Like, what the fuck? Sorry for the tangent. If you're still on the mats mentally and you're still working through those problems, then you're still going to be improving in some way. But a mistake that I've made in the past is when I've been sick, I allowed myself to get too sporadic with my focus and looked into way too much information. Because when you take a step back sometimes in your game, the thing is, it's like when you look at problems in your game, it's very easy to take a step back and see a million leaks in the boat. And you're like, fuck, I gotta fix everything at once, bro. Like, oh, my guard passing could use work, but then, like, oh, my mount attacks, they're not that great at the moment. And, like, side control, I just don't know what to do from there. And, fuck, I just keep getting held under mount. And it's like, what the fuck do I do? So, as much as you can, try to be focused with what it is you're putting your intention towards. Pick 1 to 3 things. And the main priority should always be defense. If you're losing defensively consistently in a certain position, or you were before you got sick, that should be your main priority to fix. Like, there's always going to be issues or insufficiencies in your game that you can identify, but if you can focus it towards defensive skills, that'll move you towards being a more strong grappler. And a grappler that's harder to pin and harder to submit is always going to be the one that lasts the longest in a fight. So prioritize your defensive skills and research those, and try to just be very it can be very easy to want to sit down and watch a fucking hour instructional and think that you're making progress, but unless you've got fucking photographic memory, fucking son, fuck off. Alright? None of this fucking One Direction lighting up my world like nobody else. I'm not here for that shit. That was okay. That was a pretty lame joke. Sorry, guys. It'd be very easy to want to compensate for your time off the mats with junk volume. But it's exactly that. It's junk volume. You're not going to remember every single little detail of what you're learning or what you're researching. So be specific. And if you want to take it a step further to reinforce that, what I like to do, if you're able to, go between the position that you're researching, and if you can, only if you have it, watch footage of yourself being stuck in those same positions and try and analyze the differences between what you're looking at. If you don't have that footage, it can be very useful to just look online and just see if you can do some research, look into some side control escapes, see if you can find some live footage of it. So you're kind of getting an awareness of what's happening on a technical level, and then you're analyzing that in someone else's jiu-jitsu. So then it becomes easier. Because, okay, the thing is, one of the objectives that we want to have when we're off the mats, or even just when we're learning skills in general, is that we want to be able to make the transition between theoretical and practical skills. Because there's one thing to have knowledge and information. Pardon me. It's one thing to have information, but it's a complete other thing that is equally as important to be able to translate that information into physical skills. You can't have one without the other. Not if you want to be a competent grappler. Okay? So, in conjunction with that, another thing you want to do as well, I'm gonna contradict myself a little bit here, but Also allow yourself to have a little bit of curiosity. And I'm not talking about sexual curiosity, which is equally important. Sorry. Allow yourself to be a little bit curious, because it's useful to harness frustration to progress in jiu-jitsu, like frustration of not being competent in certain positions. But you can't be so frustrated to the point where you suck the joy out of the sport, and your interest in the sport is purely based on a distaste for your own insufficiencies, which is it's a super useful skill or approach to have, which is, I think it's necessary to get to the highest level. But if you have too much of it, then it becomes a poison. So we don't want to get lost in overcompensatory behaviors, because you're going to start taking in junk volume and everything, like I said before. So, one, be focused, try and learn a skill, but then also allow yourself to just look into a couple of things, because you got the time and space for it. Do a little bit of research into like for example, side control escapes are my weakness at the moment. So I've been researching that, a couple, just one or two particular variations of side control escapes. But also, I noticed that whenever I'm in 50-50 with someone or doing 50-50 specific training, I have no idea what the fuck to do. I just don't know what to do. I don't know what to look for. I don't know what the ideas are. I know about some general ideas or concepts of leg entanglements, but specifically, I don't know what to do technically. So I'm allowing that curiosity to take me to do a little bit of off the side research for some not so important skills, but just doing it for the sake of curiosity and problem solving. So you have one that's more serious, but also one that's a little bit more lighthearted and curious. Because if you allow yourself to have a bit of curiosity in your jiu-jitsu, then you expand. You allow yourself to expand your perspective up to some new horizons. Now, I'm going to take a couple steps away from jiu-jitsu altogether. Another really important thing to be able to do, or another important thing to do when you're off of the mats, is not only work through the problems of jiu-jitsu and stay mentally on the mats, so to speak, but also reflect just on your mindset in general. Do research into some different perspectives, philosophies on training, and maybe even life. Allow yourself the space to recognize where you may have some insufficiencies in the way you look at training and learning and all of these things. One of the things that I did when I was unwell earlier this year was I got really invested in Josh Waitzkin's The Art of Learning, and it gave me some brand new perspectives on training and jiu-jitsu and mindset and everything. And then when I came back, I had this kind of the problems that I was solving in jiu-jitsu weren't necessarily different, but I was a different person. So the person that was approaching these problems was someone who was more well equipped. At least I believe so. So you're not necessarily developing the specific skills, but you're doing some self-improvement. So find ways to work on yourself mentally. So then when you come back to the mats, it's not like you've been away for a long time. You come back with a refreshed perspective and some clarity on things that you want to work on. So this was a longer video. I think I might have rambled a little bit too long on this one, so I'll do better to not do that in my future videos when it's not necessary. But anyone who listened this far, thank you. Appreciate you. Let me know if there's anything that you want me to talk about, and if I think that I am able to, then I will. Just know that all these videos that I'm making, these are just ideas that I'm having kind of at the moment in my journey of jiu-jitsu. Like, I'm not claiming to be to be the smartest guy, or to know it all, or to have it like completely worked out. I'm just someone who is very interested in these conversations and these ideas. Sorry, guys. And these ideas. So when I'm talking about these things, it's just like coming from where I'm at in my journey right now. So there may come a time where I actually remake videos and revisit topics because I've got a cleaned up perspective. Guys on their fucking phone in the car. Imagine doing that. Imagine fucking filming yourself on the phone while you're driving. But I may revisit certain topics. Like the video that I made before about tape study. I would probably change some of that already. And that was made like a month ago. So yeah, if you guys have any things that you disagree with or things you want me to elaborate on, let me know. Okay? Because I love this shit. Alright guys. Peace.